Did Terence Crawford just prove that skill means nothing in boxing? My name is Asagba from Regal Boxing Gym in Forest Gate, London. And of course, we all know skill is so important in boxing, but I'm going to explain to you how Terence Crawford used ring IQ, ring craft, ring generalship to completely nullify Canelo Alvarez's boxing skill. Stay tuned. First off, let's explain why positioning beats skill. Now, positioning is something you're going to use for your ring IQ, your ring craft, your ring generalship. You know, where to stand, how close, how far from your opponents, where to stand to nullify certain skills. Now, skill is great, but you have to be in position to use the skill. And that's where ring IQ, ring craft comes into play. So someone like Terence Crawford, he understands that Canelo Alvarez has great head movement. He has great catching counters. He's great basically on the inside. So what does he do? If I'm boxing an opponent who has great inside skills, to completely nullify them, I stand on the outside. And what Crawford did is he stepped off the line. He attacked, he stepped off the line. He attacked and he pivoted. At times, you know what he did? He stayed on the inside with Canelo. But only he'll stay on the inside 3-4 punches and then he'll pivot and step. What he was doing on the inside, again, was positioning. So his positions standing right in Canelo's chest. He's standing right in the center position. So Canelo is square, throwing looping hooks. And Crawford is side on, catching the shots and attacking down the center. So that's why when you watched it, Canelo looked awful. He didn't look awful, but he didn't look how he normally looks. And people said, Canelo's shot, Canelo's past it. No, Canelo was boxing someone who always sought for the better position before he let his hands go. Always make sure they was in the right position before they defended. So we saw Crawford looked very strong compared to Canelo, and we know Canelo's amazingly strong. But what did he do? When Canelo threw those looping hooks, Crawford was side on and he stepped down the center path, catching their shots, taking away Canelo's leverage. Although Canelo was the stronger man, he didn't look stronger because of Crawford's tactics. Now that's the first way in which Crawford used positioning to overcome skill. Now, when you study Crawford's positioning, you see loads of micro interventions, loads of those small little subtle steps when he smothers, when he steps back, and what he's doing is that he's constantly resetting the rhythm. So as I said, he's inside the middle now. He's standing side on to Canelo. Bop, he's landing the 3 punches and then he pivots and turns. Now that pivot and turn resets, because if he was to stand still, eventually Canelo would adjust. Now Canelo's got that tight high guard and shoulder roll and head movements, and that works really good on the inside. Now what Crawford does is that he doesn't take that invitation to come and play on the inside, but it may look from the outside when you're watching it that Canelo's invited him and he comes in. No, he hasn't taken that specific invitation to brawl. He's just coming at a new angle, throwing his punches. When Canelo tries to readjust, he resets the rhythm by taking a small little micro step. These little small steps, these little small plays that Crawford do is what keeps him ahead. So it's yin and yang. Even when Canelo wants to do yin, Crawford is yang. When Canelo wants to do yang, Crawford is yin. He's constantly playing. So what that does is that he sets the rhythm of the fight. He sets the tempo of the fight. He's moving around, taking small steps. And we all know that Canelo doesn't like to move around. So just the fact that Canelo doesn't like to move around, he's not in a comfortable position. So when he is moving around and when he does throw his attacks from an unfamiliar position, he's not going to be at his best where he can land those meaningful shots. And Crawford's going to easily be able to evade or smother. Stay inside, side on, bop, take a step. And he just constantly keeps that on loop for the entire fight. From round 1 to round 12, he just kept that on loop. Now, that leads us on to why Canelo looked to neutralize. Now, Canelo is one of the best defensive boxers alive today. He's definitely one of the best defensive fighters alive today, definitely. He probably has higher defense than Crawford. I'm pretty sure when I was looking up the stats before the bout took place, Canelo is hit by his opponents less than Crawford is. But why was that not apparent when they fought? It wasn't apparent because Canelo is a master in his one dimension. Now, for me to say he's a one-dimensional boxer, a lot of people are going to be saying, you can't say that about Canelo, but what that means, it doesn't mean that he's a simple fighter. He means that he's very great in that one dimension, but he can't come out of it. And that's been seen when he boxed Lara, when he boxed Bivol, when he boxed Mayweather. Even in his fight before last against Skull, he's unable to adapt into other dimensions. But within that dimension, if you come close to him, he's gonna catch, he's gonna counter, he's gonna roll, he's gonna be amazing. So what Crawford did, like I previously said, he never took the invitation to box inside of that dimension. He stayed on the outside. He reset. When he did go into that dimension very fast, only for short periods of time, he attacked and then he reset. He attacked and then he reset. He didn't box within the realm in which Canelo was king. And if he did do so, Canelo would have looked a lot more dominant than he did. That was partly the reason why Crawford looked so strong, because he was boxing in a way, in a manner, even when he stepped on the inside and he looked like he held his own, he was holding his own with superior position, not physical strength, and then he stepped and reset. So Canelo was unable to keep up with the rhythm change. This is a key for young boxers, old boxers, or boxers. It's not just about the skill, it's not just about the speed, it's not just about the strength or the endurance. It's about the mental agility, the ring craft, understanding the ring, understanding who you're boxing. You have to understand when you want to move around, when you want to close in. Because if I'm boxing an opponent, for example, who has rapid, fast hands, or power, why am I going to give him space? Why? You think to yourself, if someone's got power, don't give him space, because I don't want him to hit me. But the more space is the more leverage, which is the more power. And within those 12 rounds, he's most likely going to crack you. So what you want to do is you want to smother him. You need to be able to negate someone's physical qualities or their skills via the way you box. Yeah, does that make sense? Someone's got good defense, but their defense might be solely the head movement. So if their defense is the head movement, maybe you want to move around, maybe you want them to come towards you and time them. If their defense is their footwork, maybe you want to cut the ring off, maybe you want to smother them. Your positioning is going to nullify someone's offense, someone's defensive skills. You have to know where to put yourself in that ring. If you want to train like this in group classes, then hit up regalboxinggym.com and book your lesson. But if you want to just keep watching these videos, these breakdowns, at the end of this video, a playlist will appear with all my breakdowns on Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. I've also got the Regal Boxing Beginner Online School and the Regal Boxing Sparring Analysis. Both are in video form, teaching you boxing basics, boxing drills, boxing training methods to develop your boxing game, and sparring analysis, which is going to break down mistakes, pros and cons that boxers do when they spar, so you can perfect everything and be a master boxer. Regal Boxing Gym in Forest Gate, London.